Hey everyone, this is DWS Darius, and today I want to give you guys a look at my 210 gallon aquarium. For those of you who follow my channel, you know I just did a huge fish swap. This tank used to be full of community fish, and now I'm going back to predatory cichlids. So in this video, I want to give you guys a look at the current stock and my future plans for this tank. Now I am filming this video during the daytime, so that glare in the tank is going to be pretty terrible, so I apologize about that. And also you're going to hear some squeaky sounds in the background because I have the dogs up here. It's raining outside, so hopefully they don't get too distracting. But yeah, this is the 210 gallon aquarium. Previously I kept discus, Australian rainbow fish, I kept barbs, just a huge community of fish. You could check out that tank in the card section above. But now I'm going back to how this tank originally was when I first set it up, with large American cichlids, predatory cichlids. That's just my thing. You know, I've been trying to keep community fish in this tank. However, I still got a passion for these larger fish. And people that come to see my tank in person, they like community fish, but they like the larger fish much better. So I decided, why not just use my biggest aquarium for the biggest fish that I keep. Well, the biggest fish that I keep in tanks, because the koi in the backyard, some of them are close to 3 feet long, and those will definitely always be my biggest fish. But as far as fish in an aquarium, I might as well keep the biggest aquarium fish in the biggest aquarium that I own, which is this 210 gallon tank. So let me give you guys a look at what's going on. So let me show you guys him since he's out and about. The fish in this tank are a little bit skittish, and mostly because they are young. They do feel vulnerable being that they're so small in this tank. So eventually when they do get older, they'll be a lot more bold like my old fish, but for now they will be hiding a lot. But yeah, this right here is a Vija, I don't know the scientific name, but this is a black belt cichlid. This guy is about 5 to 6 inches, and he's definitely showing some awesome color. Right now he's been having a lot of turf wars with my Salvanite cichlids. I have 3 of these in this tank, all females, and he's been having some turf wars, and because of that he's been showing some awesome color. So he's one of the fish in his tank. I have the 3 Salvinites, one who rules that side of the tank, one who rules that side of the tank, not showing as much color. Then I have the 3rd one, which is the smallest, and it stays somewhere in the cracks because it is the smallest and it doesn't have a lot of authority. But those Salvinites show just a great amount of color. Now the thing with these Salvanite cichlids is that they only reach about 6 inches, and some of the fish I keep in this tank get a lot bigger, and they can potentially eat them. So I'll have to just monitor that. If anything, I'll have to move the Salvanite if they don't keep up, if they are not able to defend themselves from the predators in this tank. After that, I have a Jack Dempsey cichlid. I've kept Jack Dempseys when I first started in the hobby, but that's back then when I didn't know what I was doing, and they pretty much hated me because I treated them poorly. So I want to give this guy a second chance. Now, this Jack Dempseys are known to get pretty big. However, this fish is growing pretty slowly. Let me check that. Oh. Okay, so I actually have to take that call, so sorry about that. But yeah, I left off on this Jack Dempsey cichlid. So the same thing with the Salvanite. I want to see this fish in his tank. He does get big enough to be able to live with the fish in his aquarium. However, the growth rate of this fish is pretty slow. I've had him for quite a while now, and he's only 4 inches. So if he's not able to keep up with the growth rate, I will be forced to take him out. Otherwise, he will become a meal to the other fish in his tank. But I definitely want him to be a member of this tank because they have just such awesome colors, and I think he will really look well with the blend of color that I'm looking for. With this tank, I want to go just get a nice blend of color. I have different fish, and I want to get a nice yellow, orange, red, just a nice blend of color. After that, I have a green Terra cichlid, and this guy is the son of my green Terra pair. You know, that awesome pair that I keep. This is the offspring. And what's cool about this one is that he actually has the white trim around his fins. Both the parents have orange, and he has white, and he also shows a decent amount of color. So he's just in his tank to see what he becomes. If this again is another slow growing cichlid, so he's pretty big right now. He's about 6 inches, 5 to 6 inches. But if these other fish that I have in this tank outgrow him, because these are once again notorious for growing slow, I will have to remove him so that he won't become prey. But he's in his tank just because he was the best of the offspring for my pair. After that, I have 2 red devil cichlids. These were born in a pond last year. I have this one, a male, who's the biggest cichlid in this tank, about 7 inches. And then I have a female in this little piece of wood right here. Both of these are very skittish, but I do plan on removing these mainly because in this tank I want to get a chance to keep fish that I never kept before, and you know I have a great amount of experience with these red devils, so they're just in this tank until the fish get big enough and get more comfortable being alone. Then I'll take them out. After that, I had to keep my silver dollars in this tank. These were in a planted tank, or these were with the community of fish that were previously in here. However, I couldn't remove them because these are notorious for eating plants. So I have my 2 stripes and my 2 spotted. Now I gotta let the dog out because he's ringing the bell, so excuse me. He's just being trained to ring the bell, so I gotta let him out whenever he calls. But yeah, the spotted silver dollars and the other silver dollars are gonna stay for now. But eventually I may have to move the spotted silver dollars because this is about their max size. And some of the fish in this tank get large enough to eat them. Namely my peacock bass. You know, I just did an unboxing of peacock bass. And you know, with my last peacock bass, I tried to add my old pair of spotted silver dollars and he just swallowed them immediately. So I don't want that to repeat itself. And let me show you these 2 guys. These are Cichlid Calbera, one of the smaller species of peacock bass. The bad thing about that is that they grow a little bit slower, but I think it's good because this is a 210 gallon tank. The last peacock bass that I had was a Celeris, and those get pretty much just huge and get huge really fast. So I'm glad to be able to keep peacock bass in this tank without feeling guilty about the tank being too small. So yeah, I have 2 of these. One of these is a lot more dominant than the other. Right now they're still eating live foods, feeders and stuff like that, and one of them is just a lot more dominant, quick to eat the feeder, while the other one is a lot more hesitant. That does worry me a little bit because these can be aggressive towards one another as species. So I don't want it to be where one gets a bigger size difference, because then it could be deadly for the other one. So I'm trying my best to get the other one plump. The smaller one seems to like only fancy fish like platies and stuff like that, so I've been feeding him some of my platies, but eventually I want to get these to eat pellets. When I do throw pellets in here, they go after them, so that's a good sign. It's just a matter of getting them to actually swallow them. So yeah, those are going to be 2 of the main stars in this tank. So once again, I'm trying to get a lot of color in this tank, or a nice blend of color. These will provide a nice gold color. If the Jack Dempsey grows up as he should, he will provide a nice black and with the blue speckles, a nice shade of color. The green terror will provide his little bluish green sheen. The black belt will provide that grayish black and red combination. And then I'll go from there, looking for a few more blends of color. Under here I have a striped Raphael catfish. This is one of the oldest fish that I keep. I remember when I first got into aquariums, I had a little 75 gallon tank right here, and he was in that tank. I had a power outage. Most of the fish died and he survived. He went to the top and stayed on top of the heater so he could get oxygen from the surface. But a lot of history with this Raphael catfish, so I decided to bring him up here. And where is he? Behind, you probably won't be able to see him, but I have a 9-inch 4-line Pictus catfish, which is a very cool catfish, very active. And my goal is maybe to get a few more, because you know, the more you have with these Pictus catfish, the more active they get. A lot of times the Pictus get a lot of problems from this black belt because the black belt is always trying to fight him. But for now, he's good. Yeah, and currently that's all the fish that are in this tank. I do have some fish growing out downstairs. I have a red terror cichlid. I'm not sure of the sex. I do hope that it's a female, because you know the females show a nice shade of red, and they are a little bit less aggressive than the males. That's how I got away with keeping a jaguar in my last setup. I had a female jaguar which was a lot less aggressive than males, and that's why she was able to fit into my setup. So hopefully this red terror is a female. And I also am growing out Texas cichlid. This is the first Texas cichlid that I'm ever keeping. Hopefully it's a blue Texas. When I bought it, it was it didn't say whether or not it was a green or blue, so hopefully it's a blue Texas. And I'll just see how these fish look when they get older. I'm trying to once again provide a tank that's not too aggressive. My last tank I got lucky because I had red devils, Midas, Oscars, all these fish that are known to be aggressive and really very limited problems. So hopefully I could do the same. I know I got to keep an eye on this black belt because these Vija cichlids can be just pretty nasty. Yeah, Texas cichlids I heard can be very mean, especially when I got fish that's really not mean, like these peacock bass. Peacock bass are not aggressive fish. They just try to use their size to intimidate. But yeah, that's a look at this 210 gallon aquarium. Let me know what you guys think. If you have any suggestions of fish that you want to see in this tank, I'm open to hear those suggestions because these fish are young. So if you have any suggestions, now would be the time for me to look into it and to see if I could fit them into this tank. Well, yeah, that's a look at this tank. I look forward to seeing these fish grow. Most of these fish are slow growers. Let me go let the dog back in real quick. He's out here crying. Come on. But yeah, most of these fish are slow growers. My last setup, I had immediate gratification because, you know, I had Oscars, the bigger peacock bass, so they all grew in no time. These seem like they're going to take a lot longer, so I'm going to sit patiently and let these guys grow to be as big as they can get. Yeah, so as always, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you want more, make sure you subscribe because I have a lot more coming. And that will be a wrap to this video. I'll see you next time.